There are reports that near an old dairy in Santa Paula, California, there's a half-man, half-beast who not only haunts the area, but violently attacks passing vehicles. Described as a muscular ape-like humanoid with long claws, gray hair, and ram-like horns, this humanoid roams the area and hurls 50-pound rocks at people and cars. This is the Billiwhack Monster. In my previous story, The Legend of Charman, that led me to what this story is, because after taking a look at that area, I found this legend. And it's in the Santa Paula, Ventura County area, close to where the Charman is. He is in Ojai. As the story goes, a tall humanoid lurks in the area. He's a supposed remnant from a World War II experiment. The creature has tormented mostly high school students for several decades. There have been reports, especially in the late 60s, of motorists and students from the area and from a nearby high school being attacked, and their vehicles being attacked and damaged while they were parked and when they were moving. There was even a 9-year-old boy that was attacked. Other reports have come as recently as 2007. The Billiwhack Monster is centered around the old dairy farm known as the Billiwhack Dairy. It was built in 1924, and the dairy apparently contains underground rooms, tunnels, all kinds of weird stuff like a maze. And as the story goes, the Office of Strategic Services, or the OSS, the OSS, by the way, is the precursor to the Central Intelligence Agency. Anyway, the OSS had an experiment going on underneath the dairy in which they were trying to create a super soldier, and the experiment went awry. If the legend is true, the experimental soldier who had gone rogue escaped to haunt the local area. The best time slot I can pinpoint for all this is approximately 1941, as the OSS was dissolved after World War II. Historically, the dairy was started up and run by an August Rubel who moved to Ventura County in 1922 and established the dairy in 1924. Rubel was once a native of Zurich, Switzerland. He served in the American Field Service in France from 1917 to 1919. The urban legend connects him to the office of the OSS. The OSS was attached to all kinds of illegal and immoral experiments, brainwashing techniques, various drugs on unsuspecting victims, and studies of disease for use in warfare and other inhumane practices. Lauren Parker from t.a.p.s, the Atlantic Paranormal Society, supplied me with some other information. Apparently, Rubel's family was not without its strife. Rubel had 2 sons, and an infant, just 1 month old, suddenly died. The doctor was called upon. Vomiting had caused congestion in the lungs and finally death. Rubel had another son. His name was Scion. He killed himself at a nearby drive-in right in Santa Paula. He died while playing Russian roulette. He was only 22 years old. Reports said that August Rubel himself returned to service and died in Tunisia when he hit a German landmine. But in a newspaper article, it stated that Rubel was captured by the Germans and was held prisoner. Did he die as a prisoner? Was his death faked? All I know is that his family remained at the dairy for quite a while after his death. On a website blog called California Folklife, the author talks about his encounter. Another man answered to the blog and talked about how he went in 2012 to purchase 2 motorcycles. One of them was stored in one of the old milking barns. He didn't know about the legend until that day. One of the motorcycles has a 30.5 cubic inch 500cc engine built by High Perform Kinetics back in 1982. They built it up to stage 2 specifications, resulting in a stump pulling high performance 40 cubic inch, 650 cc monster of an engine. After some cleaning up and painting, this guy customized it, and the bike has since been featured in several magazines. The guy named the motorcycle the Billiwhack Monster. The only thing left to do is take a ride and go visit the Billiwhack Dairy. So we're just going to kind of poke around. So I'm going to take Lauren from t.a.p.s, and she's going to accompany me on this. What will we find from this legend? There's a lot of layers to this, and when you go all the way back into the 1920s, there's a lot of stuff that can happen between then and now. Was it necessarily a rogue soldier that was scientifically built like a Frankenstein? Who knows? But something is weird at that dairy, and I intend to find out what it is. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button if you like this video, and turn on your notifications so that you know when I upload a new video. Without further ado, let's do it. Okay, so we are 0.4 miles away from the Billiwhack Ranch. My friend Lauren Parker here from t.a.p.s is along, and she's going to help with this segment. So we are in Santa Paula here, so this will be interesting to see what this looks like as we near it.
In a quarter mile, you will arrive at your destination.
So what we're going to try to do today is get some shots of it, get some drone footage, and it would be amazing if we could get inside of it. There it is.
Ranch.
Back there it is. Okay, so we got to turn around.
Is this part of
You've arrived.
We have arrived.
We have arrived.
Alright, so it says private property. So we are inside the ranch property right now. This is some kind of a main cabin over here. No trespassing.
No trespassing.
Okay, so that's a deadlock out right here.
Wow.
They're trying. Acres is this like 40? Alright, so there's this cross right here. I don't know, what do you make of that?
That's interesting.
I got that drone straight over the building.
Gregg White.
So, no Billiwhack Monster, you've been here 13 years.
I've been here 13 years so far. Bless the Van Wagners for letting me be here. Daytime, nighttime, middle of the night, howling at the moon, all that shit. I ain't seen one yet.
How bad is it with the kids coming up here and kind of being ghost chasers? Is that a big deal?
Friday night, Saturday night, the rice rockets and the hot rods come out because this is an old drag strip. Certainly the first mile has been for 50 years. And I've been sitting in the house and hear them crash and just come out and help them. The kids, when they're out here sneaking around, you're not going to hear them because they're trying to get away with something, you know.
Yeah, right.
So I've also had to knock on their door at 3 o'clock in the morning. Hey, I crashed my car. Could you help me? Can I use the phone?
Are the police pretty easy going out here?
You know, the last time I called them, I said, hey, somebody's just up above me on the other side of the road, and they just dumped 2 18-round clips. I think somebody should come up here and find out what they're shooting at. Yeah. And the guy came to my door and says, well, I don't want to go over there. I said, well, that's why I called you, because I don't want to go over there either.
Do you know what they were shooting at?
No, I never asked.
Just a couple kids? You don't know who?
I'm not going to speculate.
Yeah.
You can't make it be the monster. Come on now.
No. I'm just curious.
I don't think it was. The Howard Hughes thing, during the Second World War, right before he built the Spruce Goose, he had this contract with the federal government, and that's when they built that bunker up there behind the Billiwhack. They were experimenting with experimental ordnance, trying to figure out what they were, building bombs, basically. Right. And, well, back in the 40s, this wasn't that far from all the military bases, but it had to be far enough away. And yeah, Howard was out here building stuff that blew up. I haven't been inside that bunker, but I understand it's pretty dark in there. This old man ain't telling a lie.
What did you get from the gentleman down the road?
Nice guy, but definitely the no trespassing seems to be repeated over and over. They want to live a quiet life out here without any kids coming by and disturbing them.
He was not going to get us inside the Billiwhack.
No, definitely not.
It looks like he hasn't been there.
No, since the new owners took over. He said he doesn't know them. He knew the previous owner.
The Howard Hughes thing was pretty cool.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
That was the biggest takeaway for me.
Right, yeah, that was awesome to hear. We need to find more of him.
Yeah, we do.
To fuck off, but we'll see.
Florence actually gonna call the owners.
Might just be a keypad, not an intercom. Should I walk up to the gate? See if anybody's outside? Just a keypad, it's not an intercom. So it looks like the driveway goes up and around this. This is a garage type building here. Damn it.
So we're gonna have to know, buddy. So was August Rebel really a mad scientist who worked for the OSS, creating super soldiers? Did he create the super soldier half man, half beast? Is the legend of the Billiwhack Monster a creation? Or a mutation of an experiment gone wrong, created by Rebel? I sort of feel like it's the least interesting thing is the monster.
Right, all right. So what's your take on the whole?
Well, here's the thing. If Howard Hughes was working with explosives up there, and if that part's true, it's not hard to believe that there was some experiments going on. Now, the Nazis did experiment. They did human experimentation.
Right.
As well as animal experimentation and everything else. But it's not a huge leap to think that they didn't try to take a human being and do something, to make them more of a super soldier.
Right.
Now, that concept's been around for a while. I mean, even G.I. Joe was a super soldier. You know what I'm saying? So all that was very popular. Like I said, every legend has some shred, some piece of truth to it.
Right.
And all that experimentation, absolutely. Do you take it as far as that there was a human experiment involved? Now, the OSS did do experimentation in terms of like chemical warfare and things like that. We do know that to be true. But imagine this at night.
Oh, yeah.
And imagine these trees, and imagine one of these crazy... Imagine the Billiwhack Monster just coming through here.
Coming down the highway, yeah.
I mean, all these orchards, you know. I mean, some of these really heavily wooded areas, I mean, it looks like Wolfman territory.
Yeah, it does. Take care of each other.
And keep rock alive.